Hi everybody, I'm Amy Stewart. I'm a writer and an artist, and I'm answering your questions. So if you have a question about either writing or art, you can post it in the comments and subscribe so you'll get a notification when I come back and answer them. But I had a question about query letters. I wrote, there are other videos up about kind of queries and book proposals, and so in response to that, somebody asked me, should I mention competing works or not when I'm writing a query letter? And my answer to that is, well, in the context of a query letter, if it's just a straightforward short letter, which it should be, you know, just a few paragraphs, a page long, it might not be necessary. If your book is, if it fits very precisely in a very particular subgenre, it might be helpful to sort of say, you know, this is like Michael Pollan's Botany of Desire, except it's about ba-da-da. So if you think there's just a super obvious comparison to your book that's going to jump right out at an agent or an editor in the query letter, then yeah, you might want to just go ahead and mention it and address it. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. In fact, to say, should I mention competing works? Well, maybe it's not so much competing works, but comparable works. Like if somebody else has written a book that's similar to yours, that's a good thing because it means there's interest in that topic, particularly if it's a well-known book. If it's not a well-known book, you don't need to mention it because nobody's ever heard of it. But if it's a well-known book that seems comparable, seems similar in some way, that's not really competition. That's actually an indication of an interest in the marketplace as far as a publisher is thinking. So yeah, I would say mention it if you think it's something that's going to be super obvious that people are really going to wonder about. Like if you've written a series about a kid who discovers he's a magician and goes off to a school for magicians, you might want to mention how that is similar or different to Harry Potter. But otherwise, I would save that for a longer document, which would be a full book proposal or some kind of more in-depth proposal where you're really getting into things like the publicity plan for the book, what you can bring to the marketing effort, how you see the book being positioned, what kind of readers you think it will appeal to. And that's usually a longer document and a longer project. About the most you would say in a query letter is just that kind of like, it's like this, only different, or I think it would appeal to readers who enjoyed The Orphan Train. You know, something really that just kind of gives a nod to other successful books and says, because this was successful, I think mine can be successful as well. But it's just a sentence, and I think that's the most you would need to do. I hope that helps. Everybody's different, by the way, and the person who wrote this question said, I see a lot of different advice about query letters. That's right, because there is no right and wrong, so this is my take on it, but ask a different writer, you'll probably get different advice. And anyway, I hope that's helpful. Post your questions in the comments, subscribe, and you'll get notified when I post new videos. And you can come find me online. I teach classes, and I send out a newsletter, and I would love to hear from you. Thanks.